beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of Wholistic Conversations. I'm your host, Brittany. And if you are someone that's into personal development, spiritual growth, or if you're on a journey to becoming the best version of yourself, then you're in the right place. So welcome. Today I have a phenomenal guest on. She goes by the name Estar. If you don't know her, then you've been living under a rock.
You know what I mean?
The first thing that captivated me about her was her yogic abilities. I mean, the way she can stretch her body is insane. So we're going to talk about her journey and just, understand who she is and how did she become Estar. So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for welcoming me into this space, into this portal. I'm deeply honored.
Yay. And good energy. I must say that. It's
Thank
our
you.
first time sitting down having a conversation. So I'm excited to just really get to know you. So where are you from?
So I'm from a actual constellation, Sirius A constellation. I'm a star seed. I came here with a mission to ascend the collective consciousness. Cause y'all, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like y'all seen this? Y'all see it. That's why y'all here. They see it. And that's what I'm here to do. And I'm doing it through movement, through breath, through meditation, through awareness, and through music. And the music is coming soon, and I also have music out. I'm the singing Yogini. Yes.
Yes, and I have heard your music, so I'm like, oh, she's about to catch the wave.
You already know.
Yeah, I feel that. So,
Right.
so are you spiritual?
We're all spiritual beings. It's just a matter of, are you aware? Like, are you conscious? Because I think everybody has come here with a spirit. Because then you have to ask yourself, like, what is a spirit? Spirit emanates from the Latin word spiritus, which means breath. So if you can breathe, then you have a spirit. And I definitely have a spirit. I'm breathing. Can we all just take a big deep inhale? And exhale, let it go. Look at that. You're spiritual. Good for you. But then it becomes ascending from that space into consciousness and awareness of the breath, of your purpose, which the breath then illuminates. So I'm conscious. And yes, I am spiritual.
Yes. And I only asked that because I asked where you from, and you said the constellations. I'm like, uh-oh.
I'm a star.
So I guess a better question would be, where were you born?
Okay, my physical body.
There we go.
Okay, yes. So my people them raised me in a Jamaica, deep in the jungle, Jamaica, Queens, New York. That's where I'm from. But I truly was raised I am Jamaican. If you don't know, no, you know. So you big up yourself and all the way there.
Okay. I love that. Because I would have thought, I'm like, oh, Jamaican. Yeah, but you are. So, okay, tell me about your childhood. I want to know, like, because, that's a very pivotal point in our lives, our childhood, because sometimes, that can make us who we are, right?
Yes.
So tell me about your childhood growing up. What was the dynamics?
Okay, so I actually just did a mushroom trip the other day. Had some really big revelations. My childhood was not easy. I had a very difficult upbringing, and it was filled with a lot of neglect and abuse on behalf of both my parents. And then I was put into foster care. And when I was in foster care, it just continued to get more tumultuous because I was looking for love outside of myself. I didn't really know what love was. I thought love was just someone being in my life, and that it didn't matter if they were abusive, and it didn't matter if they were neglectful. It's just the presence of a person. That's all I knew. And I valued that. So I ended up abusing myself in multiple ways, just in multiple ways, I would say. Definitely sexually. Sexual abuse has been a theme in my entire childhood. And then just psychological abuse, even spiritual abuse. But I've always been a intellectual my entire life, and I found a lot of comfort and a lot of healing in words and in music. So I like to write. I love to move my body, to sing, to dance, to, cultivate a relationship with my imagination. And that's what kept me safe and on the right path, even though I was in unsafe, hazardous environments growing up. I always knew that I had a purpose here in this world, and that all of the trauma that I was experiencing was leading up to the ascension of the collective. And I knew that I was here to be a revolutionary. I always knew that. I always knew I was destined to be a leader of the masses. And so, I'm actually really grateful for all of the trials and tribulations.
Okay. And I would love to go a little bit deeper with the neglect and the abuse you were facing in your childhood, because you're not alone, right? There's other women who has experienced the same things as you. So I want to talk about, can you help paint the picture of some of the things that you actually went through in that childhood?
You are not alone. I am here with you. Though you're far away, I am here to stay. Whew. Sometimes, Michael Jackson channels through me. Okay. That's my homie. I knew him back in the day, before I was here in this physical vessel. We were close. But yes, you said to elaborate on the neglect and the trauma. What do you want to know?
Whenever you're open to sharing.
Okay.
Because I understand.
How was I neglected?
Yes.
Okay.
And what, give me an example of some neglect that you went through as a child.
I got it. I think this is what it's all led up to. Most High, I see you. All right. So some of the neglect would just be, not being fed when I was supposed to be fed, being kicked out of my house as a child within my single digits, and then into me being a preteen, and then just having things stripped from me, like my clothes, and not being listened to, being ignored on multiple occasions, and then being put into foster care because of all of the physical abuse, the mental abuse, the substance abuse that I was, exposed to as a child. I always had ACS in my life because of it. I was always a very expressive child. So if something was happening to me, I usually wasn't trying to hide it, even though I was directed to do so. I just always knew that I had to speak up. So they ended up removing me from that household. My mom was constantly leaving me because of substance abuse and prostitution. And my father just didn't acknowledge me as a person. He's a Jamaican man. So, and not to put all Jamaican men in a box, but there is a particular culture that we come from, Jamaican people. And so they have certain belief systems around girl pit me on, boy pit me on, what you're supposed to do. So I was told that I was supposed to be subservient, and I was supposed to just basically shut up and listen without question, and just be a maid. So wash the clothes, do the dishes, clean the entire house extensively, make the food. No, I was one of two. So my brother as well, but he's a boy. So he wasn't subjected to the same type of treatment as I was. So that contributed to the neglect as well. And then it was just emotional neglect. If I was going through something, I didn't have the space to talk to my father about it. And then my mother wouldn't physically be there. She would just up and run away when things got too difficult for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your outlet during those times?
Well, I would always sing in staircases. And I would sing in closets, and I would sing karaoke. And I started to develop a relationship with my voice, because I always knew my voice was my strength and my power. So even though, people would compare my voice to other people's voices, and that I felt I wasn't the best singer, I loved to sing. That, in addition to, I would write books, little books, and I would draw. I'm actually an amazing artist. So I would draw a lot when I was a child. And that was very soothing for me because sometimes people would tell me to shut up if I was singing too loud. That's why I would sing in staircases. So if I was in certain areas, I would just draw or read.
Okay.
And dancing was something that was really big for me as well, like just prancing around and moving my body. That's why yoga was like a second nature for me, because I was always doing something flexible with my body in the meantime. That was just my, and I'd be singing in them postures too, just dancing, prancing, and singing Maxwell.
Yeah. So now that we understand that sometimes, you know, going through trauma and these bad experiences, we find a good, healthy outlet, like you say, dancing and drawing. But what were some of the unhealthy outlets that you went to because of your neglect and trauma?
So I would definitely say sex. Like that was like, I think that was like one of the biggest things, was just like, even as a child, just most of all of my friendships became tainted, in my opinion, because I was always experimenting with everybody. Didn't really matter if you was a boy, if you was a girl, I was going to experiment. And that continued up until like not even too long ago. I've been healing. So yeah. But but with that being said, it's just like, that was probably the biggest unhealthy coping mechanism, because I became aware of like STDs and STIs and spiritually transmitted demons, and just like how when you exchange energy with another person, especially like as with a man and a woman comes together and there's that intercourse, you're blending bloodlines, you're sharing your entire body count. It's like, so I was really reckless with that, and I would use that as a bartering system for like, food or a place to stay or just to be held or cared for. So that was definitely a not a very good coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And then food, unhealthy food, just really horrible, unhealthy food, like McDonald's, Checkers, Burger King, White Castle. What was I doing in White Castle?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I was in White Castle. Just eating horribly. And then in addition to that, I was a pothead. So I actually used to be known as Eddie S. Shout out to all my old custies. If y'all see me, hey, you know what I mean? I used to be known as Eddie S. I used to make edibles in my grandma's kitchens. Yo, auntie, it's all love. So yeah, I was doing that. And then I used to also sell marijuana when I was younger.
What age did you start smoking?
I started smoking when I was 16.
Okay.
I think I started edibles when I was 15, and then I did 16 was smoking. And then I was like, yo, I could flip this and make some money. And I did. And I made some money, y'all. I did. So I would think that, those
because sometimes, and you're operating off of survival, right?
Yes.
Like I need to make my own income, and just so happenly, marijuana was the tool.
But medication, you feel me, at the same time. So it wasn't, I think it's not necessarily the marijuana that was the bad coping mechanism. It was the way in which I was ingesting it, and just the copious amounts that I was ingesting on a daily basis. It just was sedating me. I was not clear because of it. So just please, like, if you are using the plant, I typically, what I like to do is just alchemize it, and I put it into oils or tinctures, and then I put that ganja tea. Oh, what you know about Tawapa ganja tea? Don't drink it fast, drink it slowly. Anyways, so yes, I put it into teas. I'll even put it in my food, or I'll just take little drops, and I do it with scarcity. Like, you don't overdo it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Wow. So that's some of your childhood, right? So what is your best memory?
Oh, wow. My best memory from my childhood. From my childhood, I think it would probably have to be like when my parents separated and my mom decided that she was going to leave my father and take us with her. And we went to Staten Island, and we were in a shelter But I think that might have been like the happiest moments of my life because it wasn't like I had this like, and I love my dad and I've learned to forgive him. But at the time I really didn't like that man. And he was like just abusive to me in different ways and he wouldn't acknowledge it. So
and when you say abuse, because there's so many like, you know, different levels, the physical, the mental, sexual, in what ways was your father abusive?
So like, I feel like, y'all. So I feel like, and this was what the whole mushroom trip was about yesterday. It's just like, I'm pretty positive in all ways. You know, I just also, I think I've blocked out a lot of my childhood because some things might have been too traumatizing for me to remember. So yeah, but I do distinctly remember a lot of psychological abuse, like just telling me that, like trying to convince me that I was mentally ill, like as a 6-year-old, or telling me that I was like a grown woman as a 6-year-old. And then just like the bullying, like the constant bullying and just the servitude. And then the physical abuse. So I remember physical abuse, like just him putting his hands on me. So I would say that. But when I went to Staten Island, that wasn't the case anymore. So like for once I felt like free from that energy, and I was with my mother, who's always been very kind to me and very loving, which is why I am the way I am. Because she would listen to me. She would always say like, I see you as more than just a child. I think you're a being. And I can learn from you. And that's how she would speak to me, with a lot of awareness. So when we were just in the shelter, it was peaceful for once in my life. And I think I was so happy. I cherished that moment.
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
What do you feel like you needed most from your father?
I think I just needed awareness. Like
for him to be aware.
Just for him to be aware of himself, of his own energy, of me. My awareness is that nobody's perfect, especially if you have children and you are still a child. Like, despite what an age may say about an individual, I don't think it's indicative of someone's level of maturity. Like you could be in your 40s, your 50s, and still be functioning like you're a 12, 15-year-old. And I noticed that about my father because he was unwilling to learn from me. And I've always been ancient. Like I had so much knowledge to impart on him, but he wouldn't listen to me. And he was internalizing his self-hate and then externalizing it onto me because I look like him. So I would definitely say like awareness of himself, awareness of his children, to ask me questions, like to figure out who his daughter is. He never really did that. So awareness. Yeah.
Wow. Have you had that conversation with him?
Oh yeah. He hung up. He got upset. He hung up, y'all.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I was like, what? Yeah. And then he had talked to me for like 7 months. And then I finally I called him back because I watched this movie about ancestors and just like honoring the ancestors, and I was crying and I was like, yo, I never know if my father might pass one day. You feel me? Like even if there's all of the abuse attached to the relationship, I'm bigger than that, and I acknowledge that was a part of my journey. I also acknowledge that that's no longer happening to me, and I would never allow it to happen to me again. But I always love to plant seeds into other people's subconscious minds. Like even if someone may have done me harm, my response will always be, I love you, because clearly that's what you need,
Wow. That requires an amount of like emotional intelligence.
Oh,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
For you to say, okay, you did this to me, but I'm willing to still love you. That's major. How do you get to that point? Because I know there hasn't been a time you were angry.
Yeah.
But then there was a point of transition that occurred. And what was that?
So with the bloodline, we're bound to repeat a lot of the curses and a lot of the choices that our parents have showed us and performed, because children don't learn from you preaching at them. They learn from watching you and your behaviors. So I ended up replicating my mother's behavior, and I ended up choosing a partner that was very similar to my father in a very abusive way. And then I ended up sustaining like damage and actually getting into a very horrible fight with this person. But in that moment, I realized like, it's not even this person's fault. Shoot, it's not even my fault. This is just the cycle repeating itself. And so I was like, instead of me getting upset at my father or upset at my mom for never leaving, or instead of me fixating myself on the past and, then externalizing that into hate, because I could have, y'all, I was faced with an option. Like I really could have like thrown him in prison. Like I was looking at my face like, yo, what? But I really was like, nah, I'm going to choose God. I'm going to choose God being the God within self, right? And the God within myself was just telling me, choose love in this moment, because this is going to catapult you into your purpose, your divine purpose, And I feel like our trauma illuminates our purpose. So for me, I think it's been to aid in the healing of women and children, because that's what I've had to do with myself. I've had to do a lot of womb healing because of those situations, which I see as a gift. Because if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be able to resonate or help women that truly need help. And then also me being abused as a child. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be able to see other children and be able to acknowledge like, oh, they're being abused.
Yep.
What do
And
we
you can see
say?
it.
Yeah, because now I know what it's like to be in their position. So
Yeah.
that's really my thought process, is like, as above, so like as above, so below, as within, so without, like it will always come back to you.
Yeah. And you wanted to break the cycle. And once you realize a cycle is happening, that drives me insane. Like that's what I'm going through right now. I'm like, yo, we keep doing the same thing again and again. And I'm tired of it. And I think once everybody realize, once you become aware of the cycle, you have to make a different decision. And when I tell you yesterday, I was going to like one of my old friends' houses. And I'm like, you know what are we doing? I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. So I turned around and I made a new decision. And I was proud of myself for that. Let's go. Because if you want to do better, you have to make different decisions. So shout out to us for breaking the cycle.
Shout out to us.
And shout out to y'all out there too, So yeah, wow, breaking the cycle, having a conversation with your father. How did all of that transform into you becoming a yogi?
Oh, so basically what happened, right, was I was in a really dark place. And first and foremost, this is why I'm really, really passionate about getting into the school system with the yoga, with the breath work, with the meditation, because my last year of high school, they created a new program where they were teaching us yoga for the 0 period. And that should change my mind. It changed my life. I was like sitting there like, hey, like I could just breathe. And so that seed was planted by this really amazing, beautiful gym teacher. Okay. And from that moment, like I remember being called up to lead a meditation. And I was like, lead a meditation? Like, I don't know how to do that. But then I sat down and my soul took over. And I was like, imagine you're on a flying carpet and below you is the sea. You rise above into the eternal awareness. I'm like, where is this coming from? Yeah. So in that moment, I knew that I was destined to be in the wellness space. So that's when I was like, at the time I was going to college. After that, I went to college for psychology. But while I was in college, I started prioritizing yoga like every single day. And this was when I was in that abusive relationship. And I even got my partner on that too. Like I was like, yo, he was like, you keep doing this yoga. I was like, do it with me, man. Like we finna heal this. Cause I'm like, yo, really and honestly and truthfully, yo, we it's bigger than us. And so I started to really take it serious. And when I say take it seriously, y'all, I took it so seriously. Like I was like committed to yoga for at least an hour a day. And then there were days where as I started to get deeper in my practice, it was 3 to 4 hours a day of just like asanas, meditation. And then I started getting into Kundalini yoga. But then that's when I was able to really deepen my practice to the point where people started asking me, like, I'm just doing amazing things with my body. And people are like, please teach me, like, how did you do that? Da, 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 da. So I was like, oh, okay. So this must be a path for me. And then I was like, let me just start making little videos. Of
Wait,
like,
but before we go there,
yeah, sure.
I want to go into your yoga practice. Like, what were some of the benefits you were getting from doing yoga? Like, why did you stick with it?
Oh, okay. So being a yogini kind of works in tandem with like me being plant-based. So I like about 5 years ago, I decided right after my birthday, I was like, I need to change my life because it just was getting really, really dark to the point where like I was getting premonitions of like my own death and then me carrying like bastard children, like children that were gonna ruin my life. And it was just nightmares every night. And so I was like, yo, I'm going to dive deeper into this practice. I started sitting really still in meditation. And I just started with 10 minutes. But that 10 minutes, like every day, really transformed my life. And I continued because I started gaining clarity on how to get out of an abusive relationship. And I got the clarity from myself, from source. And by opening up my channels and listening to the white folks and, the white folks yo, shout out to all the white folks that's been doing this stuff. Like y'all have inspired me. And now I can actually show up for the melanated community.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not nothing here or there. But that accelerated my healing journey, like times 1,000, just to sit still, just to breathe, just to move my body. And then it just, when I had to break up with my partner, I did it in such a peaceful way because I had so much peace in my soul, like that I was able to cultivate. So it was very difficult for me to get triggered anymore and act on the trigger. Like I had coping mechanisms and I substituted that for all of the malicious coping mechanisms. And, bit by bit, slowly, year by year, I've become who you see today. So I'm never going to stop.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing
It's a
I've ever
calling.
done.
It's your purpose. I think I think that your purpose is for you when you're doing it out of a need for your own self, right? So I think for me, one of the things was knowing that, I'm called to do this health and wellness thing was because of, my parents passing, because of, health-related diseases, or me wanting to have mental clarity. And I wanted to stop that chatter that's inside of our voices. And I was discovering, like, what is that? Why is my mind continuously going? And I would ask people, like, do you talk to yourself? And they'll tell me no. So I thought I was crazy. And I'm like, I need to quiet this voice because it keeps going. So those were some of the avenues that took me to meditating, that took me to becoming plant-based, that took me into being gluten-free, was all because of me. And once I seen it change within myself, more people need to know about this. Then people are asking me, like, Brittany, I see you going to the gym every day. Can I work out with you? So that's how you know you're on your path, because everything will kind of come together in a very beautiful way. And people will seek you for your services and what you do just naturally. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, shout out to you for tapping into your purpose.
You are so beautiful.
Thank you.
And I honor you. And thank you for sharing that. That's powerful. How did you deal with the grief, though?
Oh, so my mother, because I was 10 months when I lost her, growing up.
You were 10 months old?
Wow. And I would lie to myself. Like, I remember in childhood, like, oh, she just didn't want to be around. She's still here, but she's not, So that helped me. But once I came to the understanding, like, no, she's not coming. I think for me, I don't know, grieving is... it's a thing that's a process, because I think I just internalize it all and I want to do something about it. So that's how I grieve. Like, oh man, I miss my mom. She passed away from this. Now I need to really help people get healthy. And that's how I grieve, by helping other people so they don't die early. So that's how I grieve. I'm not necessarily a writer or a journaler but really just helping other people help me grieve, because I'm like, I'm saving lives and I'm helping people, So, and whether that's through my products, whether that's through conversations, I'm really realizing that, I'm meant to be here on this earth, and everything that happened to me had to happen to me so I can be who I am today. So, yeah.
Wow.
So sometimes it's challenging. And like with my father, I was older. I was, I think I was 22 when I lost him. So that hit a little different, because it was like, dang, I grew up with you, and now, you land in the bed. But I was actually able to speak to him before he transitioned, and he was in hospice. Hospice?
Hospice? Oh, wait, no. Hospice. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I just remember holding his hand and just telling him, like, it's okay, let go. I'm going to be okay. Everything is fine. Like, it's okay, just let go. Mm-hmm. So I was just able to, have that conversation. And once I left the hospital, he ended up transitioning. And then it is sad, right? That's your father. That's somebody who you depend on. That's somebody you talk to often. But at the end of the day, we had a really great relationship. And I'm just glad that he was in my life for the time he was. And yeah, so now I'm just,
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have to deal with any grief in your life?
I mean, I have this one moment, and I didn't even know Papa, but I think I was grieving for my father. I've always been really tapped in. Mm-hmm. So my father, he wasn't raised by his dad. He was raised by his grandfather and his grandmother. And he called them Papa and Mama. He don't call his father dad. He calls his father uncle. He calls his mother auntie. So the relationship was just so weird. But then Papa died in Jamaica. We got Jamaica, and I went to the funeral. And when I came back from Jamaica, all of a sudden I felt this wave of grief, and I didn't know this man, but it felt like I was grieving for my father. I remember going in a corner and crying, like I knew this man. Mm-hmm. But I felt like something had changed in my body when he had passed. So I was like, I'm just gonna cry about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that was like really my own. I mean, I've grieved relationships and I've grieved old parts of myself, but
yeah,
I haven't lost someone that's like super, super important to me in that like I was raised with them, or by them. So I haven't experienced that.
Okay. Well, this is the perfect time for our health break.
Okay, let's go.
Let's do it.
You got a health break.
So I have a company called Herb and Flow where I manufacture health food products. And one of the products I carry is a sea moss gel. So I got you a gel for you to try. This is our mango papaya sea moss gel.
And I love me some mango. And papaya is really healing for the womb space and getting rid of parasites.
It is. So this is actually perfect. You're going to try it right here on the spot.
Yeah, let's go.
And you want to take a spoon, let the people know, how does it taste?
All right. I'm really, really honest.
Volume? No. But good texture.
Y'all see that texture? See that right there? Hey, all right. Let me see where it's working.
All right, moment of truth.
I'm not gonna lie. That's banging. I'm not gonna lie. And I would not lie. I would tell y'all the truth. It's good.
Hey.
It tastes like, it really do. It tastes like a mango applesauce, but it tastes like it's intended for babies. And I feel good. I feel like I'm having a nice little childhood moment.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you like it.
We're going to need a new top.
I got you.
Yeah, but I'm going to eat this for
I got you. Don't worry about that.
All right, cool.
So, yeah. So, no, I'm glad you enjoy that. And I know our health is important to us, right? You said you transitioned.
Now, you did your thing on this, though. Because I would not still be eating it. I would have stopped. I would have put down the spoon. I would have been like, And this is the thing. I've had some sea moss, y'all. Not everybody could do it like this. You know what I mean? Some people they on the wave. Okay, they on the wave. They don't even know how to clean it. You cleaned it. She cleaned it, y'all. It's clean. It's clean. The flavors is popping. She wasn't lying when she said mango papaya. It's in there. It's in there for real. Woo.
All right, look at that, y'all. So make sure that you go and you support herbandflow.com.
I'm with it.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Is there a limit to how much I can eat?
So, I mean, too much of anything is not good for you.
Yeah.
But we recommend up to 3 tablespoons a day, 3 spoonfuls a day.
Okay, so I hit my max.
Yeah.
All right, let me.
No, literally, people tell me like, "Yo, I almost ate the whole jar."
Yeah, no, it's really good though.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
Is there something?
I got you.
I enjoyed it.
You wanna? Can you get that?
I did. I enjoyed it.
Just so it's not on the floor. Okay, so so health, right? We go transition into health. You talked about transitioning to a plant-based lifestyle, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And what prompted that transition?
So multiple things. As I became more and more conscious in my light body, I realized like I didn't like eating meat. Like my whole life, I didn't like eating meat. I would only eat it if it was lathered in like barbecue sauce or honey or ketchup. Yeah. And that was like the only way I was really, really going to bust it down. Or if it was fried.
Or jerk. Jamaican jerk, no.
Or if you didn't jerk it. Or stew. I was with the stew too. I ate chicken every meal. If it wasn't chicken, it was goat. Or if it wasn't goat, it was like lamb. So I had my moment, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and be like meat didn't taste good. Right. It did.
You indulged.
It did. I had my moment. But does it taste good by itself? That's where we actually have to start asking the right questions. But I started to question everything when I was sitting in meditation, and I started getting still because I became aware of the spirits around me and the energy around me. Like everything is breathing, everything is sentient. So I was like, oh shoot, like even the food that I'm eating, even though it's been slaughtered, it's still living in a sense. And so I realized that I wanted to eat food that was more living because I was like, technically this has been slaughtered. So I watched What the Health, and I really was like, what the health? Like, I was like, y'all, please go watch that documentary. I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. Like, so I educated myself, and I'm really big on education. I'm not going to do something if there isn't a purpose behind it. I'm going to look for a purpose behind it. So I started studying the meat, and I realized how carcinogenic it was and how it was cancer causing. That's what carcinogenic means. And not just that, but all the parasites, and just like the putrefaction aspect. So that just means that, it doesn't digest well. And so it putrefies. It literally goes bad in your digestive tract because our digestive tracts are way too long for meat. And it takes way too long to break it down. Therefore, it leaves you susceptible to parasites. So I realized I had parasites. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Then I realized, like, once I just took a break because of Rough Smart, right? I was like, yo, he was like 7-day vegan challenge. I was like, ooh, he got me. I said, let me tap in. Let me tap in because I'm pretty sure I could do this. He just challenged me to love myself. So I did it, right? I did the 7 days. After the 7 days, I done broke up with my boyfriend. I got my itch together. I was like just glowing. My skin was coming back. Like I could start smelling things from like a mile away. I was like, then I started smelling the meat and I was like, oh, how did I put this in my body? Then I started smelling the cheese and the cheese was mooing. And I said, yo, the cheese is mooing. I could hear the cheese mooing. And I was like, yo, I'm really getting sentient. Yeah. Yes. I was like, yo, So I was like, nah, I'm never going back. And so I just continued to study the food and that's how they killing us.
So that 7-day vegan challenge, you just cold turkey and just continued the challenge after that, like and incorporated.
See, I didn't cold turkey. You feel me? I just beat it. You feel me? I just I got straight to the potatoes. You know, I went for the collards. You know what I mean? Vegetation and fruits. That's what I did. We don't even cold turkey no more, because cold turkey wasn't bad, y'all. It wasn't hard either. It was pretty soft. And so, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Unless it was hard. If it was hard, it's because you didn't slice it right.
I actually did the same thing. I watched What the Health.
You watched it?
Yes. And after that next day, I was on Facebook Live, y'all. I am throwing this chicken out because that can stop a lot of people sometimes. When you just went grocery shopping, you just found out some new health information. You're like, well, I got this chicken in the freezer. I got to cook that first. But for me, I'm like, all of this is gone right now. And people like, but you can give that food away. It got to go right now, you know? So What the Health really did create a shift in society where people took their health more seriously, because even for me, I love chicken tenders. I would go to a steakhouse growing up and I would still get chicken tenders. And I'm like, I don't like the steak, the pork, all of that, pepperoni. I'm like, no, none of that. Chicken. But once I seen how those animals were treated, I'm like, oh, sorry, chicken, I can't eat you no more either. And I was never really a big dairy person. So for me, going cold turkey was easy because I didn't like the other food anyway. So it's a journey.
No, I was big on milk. I used to chug milk as a sport. While I was in school, they would pay me, of course. I see how many cartons I could go through. I think I hit maybe like 20, and then I threw up a little bit. But that was I had a time. Cheese, couldn't resist it. Had to get the cheese. I put it on everything.
Yeah,
I put it on the chicken. Bacon, egg, and cheese every day.
Like any allergies or anything like that?
Nah, it was really just skin things, like, you know, just getting really hormonal, like pimples and things of that nature, just like throwing off my pH balance. Yeah. It was getting wicked, y'all. I think that's really was like, because I used to get yeast infections and I didn't piece it together. Like, it was also like because of the acid dick. I made a video about this. Check it out. The acid penis. Because of the pH balance, and I explained it in the video. And so, you know, that was impacting me. So I actually learned that as a plant-based woman, to stay away from like intimacy with people that aren't plant-based, because it does disturb the whole thing. Like, just I'm fully plant-based. Like,
so you wouldn't even date a man that eat meat. No, your pool of men just increased. No, I'm just it did. But
I'm cool.
It's okay.
I'm at peace with that.
Yeah.
I'm at peace with that. I got bigger plans. I got way bigger plans.
Yeah.
Way bigger plans.
But you talk a lot about womb. You talk about womb health, right?
That's what I'm really big on right now. Yeah.
So what are some important things that women need to know about their womb health?
Well, so first things first is the womb is sentient. You know, the womb is not just an organ, it's a portal. And that portal connects you to the Most High. So, you know, first just establishing a relationship with it, because I realize a lot of us aren't told that we have sentient wombs that have, you know, feelings of their own. Like the womb actually, just like how the heart may feel on its own, or the mind may have its own thought process, so does the womb. And I think every organ does as well, but there's a infinite amount of knowledge that the womb encapsulates. So us being able to connect with that is the biggest thing. So I would also say, please get into your yoga postures, because that's one of the biggest and greatest things you could do for your womb space. And to eat womb healing foods, like berries are really, really good for the womb space. Papayas, fruits in general, a lot of fruits, because we need hydration for this space and area of the body. And I would say just keeping yourself hydrated. And sometimes I even get slipped up with that. Like when you're stressed out, one thing I would draw awareness of is maybe you're thirsty, or maybe you're just hungry. And so I encourage you to drink as much fluids, but not just water, because water can strip the body of a lot of vital nutrients. I would say coconut water. I would say anything that's rich in electrolytes. So H3O2, which would just be like, you know, your fruit juices, watermelon. Melons is really, really healthy. for the womb space. And in addition to that, just staying active. You know what I mean? When you can walk, go walk. When you can run, go run. When you can ride your bike, go ride your bike. But keep your body moving. Keep the hips in motion. Dance a little bit. I made a Mapuka video. I think I was wearing the same pants. Go check it out. Mapuka, baby. Shake it. Don't break it. Shake it.
Okay. So what made you want to tap more into the womb health? Or were you seeing other women going through things? Were you going through things personally?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually had an IUD. I was so like deeply terrified of getting pregnant because of how reckless I was. So I got an IUD, and it was the hormonal one. It wasn't the copper one. It was basically plastic, and they had it. So what the IUD is, it's an interuterine device. So it goes between the cervix. The cervix is like that big, bro. So it sits in there, and then the wings go on the very top of the cervix. And it releases hormones that disrupt the flow of your hormonal patterns, which keep your cycle healthy. So it disturbed my cycle, and I was having like spotting as opposed to a natural healthy cycle. And it really impacted my relationship to my womb because I was so numb in that space because of this. It was constantly sedating me. Like I had very little feeling in that space until I took it out.
How long were you on it?
I was on it for about 2.5 years. And then when I took it out, it was so much pain. Like I've been clearing the pain because once I took it out, that's when I became
like
aware.
Pain when you start your cycle, or like what type of pain?
It was pain when I took it out. Like that was probably one of the most painful things.
You took it out at a doctor?
Nah, y'all, I was in this really, really interesting predicament. And y'all, story time, but I'm not going to do it right now because I don't know if y'all ready. Y'all probably not even ready for what I'm going to say. So I'm not even going to say it. But look, what I will say is I did have some assistance, and I had it pulled out of me with some. I went and purchased the devices on my own because I really didn't trust Big Pharma no more. So I was like, I'm not going to no Planned Parenthood. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I had some people. Yeah, let's just say some people. They pulled it out.
Okay.
And then I was just, man, I was in complete and utter shock. My lower back was locked. Like it was locked. It's so spiritual. Like you can't just be poisoning your womb space like that, because then you leave yourself susceptible to all different types of like womb related diseases, like, fibroid cysts and PCOS and just like infections. Like you literally get infections that way. And so I was and then even the tearing inside of my womb, I'm pretty sure something had torn, especially like in the cervix area, because there was just so much pain there. So I had to go into a state of healing. And then that's when I started doing a lot of like fasting. Just like I went raw. I went raw vegan like 3 times, really with the intention to heal my womb space. Because I wanted to give my body a break from just cooked foods and just give myself the space to just regenerate.
Yeah.
And then I've also done like dry fasts, which I wouldn't 100% like recommend in terms of like, if you want a comfortable fast, that's not the way to go. It is like dying. It's really like dying. But I died and I came back to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We all need to experience that. I haven't done it myself yet, but I feel like it's on the way. Especially once I do another round of ayahuasca.
Ooh.
Like, I heard. Yeah.
I would definitely encourage you to, do it in a group. Because like, I think we, as a people, need to bring back the practice of fasting. Like even in religious settings, they don't even do it. Like in Christian settings, like, and I'm not coming for none of y'all, and don't come for me. They be trying to come for me.
Do they?
Yeah, these Christians, man. I mean, respect. I respect everybody.
Oh, you
I'm just
get
saying.
Them started again.
I'm just saying.
Christians. That's a
Stop it. Okay, so what I was saying was, it's even in the Bible to fast. Like that's something that we're supposed to observe for our connection to God. So yeah, I think that also aided in my womb healing. And I also started using yoni eggs. And in addition to that, just like yoni steaming.
What are some of the benefits of the yoni eggs or yoni steaming?
So it also depends on the type of egg that you're using, but it's really so that you could tone your pelvic floor muscles. which can lead to.
Is it because you have the egg up there, so you got to kind of clench it to stay in, or does it stay in? Like, what's the?
Yeah, so they come in different sizes.
Okay.
Right. So you have like the largest one, and then you have a very small one. So I'm on a small one. I'm advanced, y'all. But the point is, you want to be able to move it up and down within the vaginal canal. And so I've been really doing work with the Obsidian Egg, which helps to absorb negative energy, which is what I've been using because I've had a lot of like negative sexual experiences. But you have all different types of crystals that you could put up there, like amethyst and aventurine, and you could put all different types of crystals up there. I personally, you put the clear quartz, but it really just depends on what your intention is and what you're focusing on. So yeah, that, and also like if you have had a child, it would help you to tone those muscles again after pregnancy, just getting everything back into a nice toned space. And it also it improves sex, y'all. It just does, you know, it does. You're welcome.
Okay, and the same thing goes for yoni steam. It's kind of the same benefits as a yoni egg.
Well, yes and no, because like, you know, I think yoni steam has a lot more to offer in that you're utilizing the herbs itself. Like I just made a video about Damiana, and how, you know, she's actually she's an aphrodisiac, and she's actually great for healing the sacral chakra and healing the kidneys, and also just what else does she do? It was something else, but I don't remember. Damiana. Yes. So, but then you could also put red raspberry leaf. You could put dandelion. You could put rose hips and rose petals. But all of these herbs have different healing benefits. So in addition to that, like herbal work and herbal care was the ancient way of treating almost all, you know, illnesses. And you know this.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So what do you have to say to people that believe crystals are rocks and they don't carry any energy or any benefits?
Good for you. If that is what you want to focus on, then all right. You know, I'm not here to try to convert nobody. You feel me? If that's how you feel, you know, that's how you feel. But I encourage you to feel into it. You know what I mean? Feel into it. Just feel into it.
Because that's really what activates.
You know? Because you could have it. It's pretty to look at. But when you start feeling into the energy of the crystal itself, because it's really just an earth material, but it's not just earth. It's also the alchemized earth that has gone through the water to shape it, that has gone through the sun to then crystallize it. And then it's a whole beautiful process that's involved all of the elements. So it's divine, and it's a way to actually attract energies towards you. Like you'll see when you start wearing crystal, like people will come to you and be like, yo, where'd you get that from? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it inspires conversations, but not just that, like on an energetic level, it can attract abundance and different situations into your life. Like I always have a crystal on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so you're an artist, a musical artist, right? I heard some of your music as I was going through your posts. I'm like, wow. Like,
Gratitude.
I'm excited for that adventure for you because you're going to, I literally fit right in. So
you don't know.
So when are you going to drop something?
Real soon. I've been working on some stuff, y'all. When this hits the enters of net, I'm telling you this. It's gonna be live. I'm gonna be everywhere. You're gonna have me in the car. You're gonna have me in the kitchen. You're gonna have me, you know, just everywhere. I'm gonna be in elevators. You're gonna go to Whole Foods. You're gonna hear me in Whole Foods. Yeah. I'm gonna get big. It's gonna be that big. That's how big. I'm sitting on eggs right now. You know what I mean? And when these eggs hatch and they fly into your ears and then they birth a new nation, you're going to remember this. You're going to remember this moment. And it will happen soon. And when it happens soon, you're just going to say, thank you, Estar. I'm going to be like, I love you.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I'm excited about that. Do you have any other adventures or anything else that the people should know about?
Yes. So right now I'm working with a foundation. I actually am a co-founder now, and it's called What Would Love Do? And now we're going into the schools and we are inspiring breath. So we're teaching children breath. We're also teaching children movement, meditation, and just vocal activation. And we're bringing these holistic practices to the children so that we can awaken their inner knowings and unlock their superpowers. And right now we have these bracelets that we are selling so that we can fund the project. Right now we're about to go to just schools in this area. And then in addition to that, we're going to Thailand to also be able to provide some of these services to those children as well. So the children are really, really core to the mission here. So if you'd like to support us, I actually have the link in my bio. Just go check it out and get your What Would Love Do bracelet to support us. And you can always donate, you know what I mean? And get like a couple hundred. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Oh, in addition to that, I'm also writing books. I'm a writer. So I will be dropping a Into the Universe book very, very soon. Just about all of the healing work that I've done with my womb, how you can integrate it into your life. Also things that you can do in terms of opening and loosening the hips and healing from sexual trauma. And in addition to that, I will also have my courses available as well for empowerment of the womb space, and a lot of other things in terms of holistic healing. So yeah, we working right now.
Come on,
putting in the work.
Putting in the work. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on our platform and being a guest. And I'm happy that I was able to share your story so people can really know who is Estar, because we see you on social media looking good, flexible, knees behind her ears,
You know what I mean?
just.
Yes.
So before we get out of here, I ask every guest one last question.
What's up?
What is one piece of advice you would like to share to the world?
The relationship that you have with yourself is the relationship that is reflected in everybody else. So before you internalize your situation and externalize your experience, ask yourself, do I love myself? And then ask yourself, what would love do? And then do that. That is exactly what I would say. That's the
beautiful.
advice.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you so much again for coming on. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Wholistic Conversations. And I will catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.